Hey sports fans, Greg Matt from Bedford Knife, MKT USA, and ASK Knives. We've got some stuff going on from ASK Knives. Headed to Great Britain. We thought we'd give a shout out to Heinnie, Haynes. Bruce, what's up? Name's Bruce. Amy?
Name's Bruce.
What's going on? Just keep swimming, right?
Yes.
Just keep swimming.
Yes.
All right, can you do Ellen's voice?
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Name's Bruce. Remember, fish are friends, not
Not
food.
Right.
It's been a while since we had little ones, but I think we watched that movie a couple of times.
And I continue to watch it a couple more times.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a favorite.
Well, that would explain why we live in different houses. I haven't watched that one in years. So, you want me to go through and talk about the ASK Knife project a little bit here? Okay,
Yeah.
So Amy wanted me to hop on since the ASK is my goofy brainchild. It's interesting. It's kind of, I thought it would do this, and it's doing this, and it's steadily growing, and it's a really fun product. I came up with this concept. Obviously, it's got a form factor that's familiar to so many of you, and the idea behind it was, anytime I've ever had a multi-tool type knife, I've never used all of the tools, and I've never considered the blade a serious implement for daily use. So I wanted to use premium materials, all American made, with a premium blade that I would actually use every day for 99.9% of what I need a knife for, plus a couple of little tools that are the most likely things that guys break the tips on. So as a knife maker, we've seen over the years, guys mess up the tips of their knives, jimmying with screws, prying on stuff, scraping things, or dropping them, right? So I figured, let's put a cool blade in it. Let's put a little pry bar, since that's what a lot of guys improvisationally do with the tip of their knife. And let's put a little screwdriver bottle opener. Pretty straightforward. Greg, when are you going to put a corkscrew? Okay, well, for those of you who were born in the 1800s, the cork was a tree that was used to cork wine, but has now gone out of favor because of all of the fucking hippies and greenies. So now when you buy a really nice bottle of wine, it doesn't even have cork in it the majority of the time, right? And champagne, you don't even need it because you twist the top and it pops. So most high-end wine now is a screw cap, and it's just an arcane thing. So geez, I really want one, but you just don't need one. You never actually use one. And if you're a real vinophile, you've got some special corkscrew, double-handed, gas-shooting, needle-poking thing. You're not using your multi-tool pocket knife.
I think most people ask for
Scissors. They want scissors.
Yeah.
Right. And then my thinking on that is I totally agree, since nobody else in the United States, there's only a couple of guys actually making scissors. Nobody's making micro scissors or surgical scissors here. They're really, really hard to make. It is something I want to onboard, but it'll be as the product matures. I couldn't launch it with one of the hardest things there is to make, which is actually a good pair of scissors. So what you're getting is a multi-tool made by a knife company, a high-end multi-tool made by a high-end knife company. Let's get the camera down on the tools and look at it real quick. Very first one of the series is the Washington.
Jefferson.
The Jefferson. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pull this out for you, and I'm gonna splay it open so that you can kind of see what's in it. So obviously it's got a chisel with a quarter hex that goes into a grip taper. I use that for grabbing on this thing. Some guys do a little nail pulling with it, maybe for light brads. I wouldn't recommend heavy nail stuff with it. We've damn sure done some destructive testing on it. Drop point blade made of S45 VN steel, and then a really good bottle opener for those of you who still need a bottle opener with a screwdriver. The tools are offset, so if I close this blade and I put the screwdriver into the use position, what you'll see with the tools is they're offset from the center line of the knife. And the reason why I've done that is, as hard as you push here, the force is going into the lock, not going into the close. So if you're ever in a situation where it starts to break a little bit, it would be very abnormal and hard to do with it in this off-center way. Now obviously it's not meant to put a 4-inch screw into a 4x4 or a lag bolt or something, but it'll do a great job doing the minimal types of improvisational kind of work you might do with a tool like this. All of them have they have a give and then they have a catch. There's a little lobe on the back here where they'll break and they hit a catch, and that's just a little safety feature, so you can feel it start to break if you were to be using some, if you were to be sliding this way and you were going to force it into a break, you would feel it give a little and then it hits another lobe of resistance before it breaks. That's just to keep you from injuring yourself. So that is the Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson, the reason I had the first knife be the Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson, our third American president, has one of the oldest multi-tools made in Sheffield, England, that you can see in a museum here in the United States. He actually carried around his estate. The next is the Washington. I had to name this one after the father of the country. We wanted to do something kind of fun. This one is a little bit more of a soldier's knife. So I'll tell you a little bit about it as we open it up and splay it. So obviously, it's a Tonto style knife, which a lot of soldiers like. It's got a tougher tip, more for piercing. This has got our Magnus ground edge, so it's got a much thicker bit of steel out here at the point because we didn't do a contour grind, we did a waterfall grind, which leaves some meat out here and it leaves you a tougher knife. If we step away from the blade just for a moment, we have a through-looking rangefinder on a bottle opener, so you can look through these little holes, and at certain yards out in the distance, a 6-foot man will go from top to the bottom of each hole, 100, 200, 300, and 400 yards. If you hold that at arm's distance and look through it, you steady your hand. I got this off of something I did for the Marine Corps STA knife years ago. And then it's got an M4 bolt scraper multi-tool on it for getting all the little nooks and crannies on an M4 bolt. Those of you who've been in the military or have an M4 know that they're notoriously, the gas carbon buildup on them is a nightmare. And it's a great little tool for getting in there and cleaning that up. So each knife has got a blade that is somewhat reminiscent of the name of the person I named it after. It's somewhat kind of reflective of them. And then they all have a bottle opener or a bottle opener with a rangefinder. And then they have some other defining tool. This is the way I carry the knife because this is the way I use it the most. If I was carrying an M4 for my profession, I would end up carrying this knife. Let's take a look at the next knife, the Ironsides, named after the USS Constitution. It's got a little bit of nautical and aviation to it, obviously done in Canton blue. Canton is the blue part on the American flag. So this is done in a Canton blue. It's got a quarter turn for Zeus fasteners, which is really common on boats and aircraft. Obviously, we called it the Ironsides, America's, notorious oldest commissioned naval ship, sitting in Boston Harbor. It's got a 1/4 and 3/8 hex on it. Maybe that's 5/16 actually. And then a bottle opener, and then it's got this, the Vikings were seafarers, and they chose this CX style blade as AEX. And I know some of you know about the etymology of that, just a real general idea. And I thought because they're ancient mariners and it's a mariner knife, I would put a mariner style blade on there, which is great for craft work, rope cutting, and the various types of things you might do on board ship. Still an all-around great knife if you were a pilot, a boater, and you can still use this to pry, scrape, and do all kinds of things. I use this for taking sticker goo off. If I got a bumper sticker, I'm taking off my back window. Kind of fun. The next is our Alcacete. So this knife is named after a Congressional Medal Award winner, a Native American from Navajo land up in Four Corners area of Arizona. Alcacete was in the Indian Wars and was invaluable in the Geronimo campaign. So I obviously put an awl for leather stitching, like if you were going to make moccasins or some improvisational leather item you might just do for fun crafting. It's got an awl, bottle opener, and then a great Warncliffe style blade, which is so good for all types of kind of crafting you might do for any sorts of improvisational field work. Some of the original knives had much smaller nail nicks. We've gone to big prominent nail nicks on everything. S45 VN steel. We did some of these in Magna Cut originally. Inside of all of the handles are some really cool Americanisms. You have to take them apart to find out. Besides the blades and the tools all being made of S45 VN, the hardware is all removable. It's 6AL4V titanium. It's all turned in Florida. The liners are stamped here in Phoenix. They are 6AL4V titanium as well. The back spring spacers, those are also S45 VN stainless steel. The pins on the inside are custom made here in the US. Everything about this knife is American made, 100%. Not substantively, not primarily, not mostly, but 100%. We went with the ultimate materials. Now, you can get axles if you want to shrink it, knock it down into a single layer knife, like we've done here. You can throw one blade in it. You can throw a short blade and 2 tools, or you can throw 2 tools in it. This knife has 2 tools. Now, this is a great companion piece if you get one of these single stackers. Let's say, for instance, you carry a knife like this. This is your regular pocket knife, and it's great for some things, but you don't want to ever, let's say you're carrying a really expensive pocket knife. You don't ever pry on the tip. Maybe you put this little guy in here with a couple of little prying tools. It's a great little companion knife. Or you just throw a blade in it and carry it around gentleman style. You can order single stack kits, triple stack kits. You can get custom printed scales. These are headed to the British Isles.
Everclear.
We've got clear, we've got amber, bunches of different colors. You can order the tools individually if you like one style blade versus another style blade. Let's say you say, hey Greg, I love this Ironsides knife and I love the navy blue. I like these, but I really want that. I want the rangefinder and I really want the bolt scraper on here. What you can do is buy this knife, buy the rangefinder, buy bolt scraper, take it apart, put them on. Man, you've been carrying it for a while and your blue got a little scratched up because your cell phone or whatever's in your pocket, your challenge coin or whatever, and say, oh man, I want to put some amber sides on it. You can throw some amber sides on there. You just call up and buy those. So there's a ton of flexibility, and I just wanted to make something that was actually usable, that would hold an edge, was rugged, and when you feel it, it feels like a real tool. It's not flimsy feeling at all. I think it's 1/8" stock, so I mean really, really tough stuff. And I wanted you to get something like, everyone that carries them says, man, it's a real knife in that really benign form factor that never, nobody ever gets bent at the office when you pull out a cute little navy blue knife. It's all shiny. You pull out this thing and, like 4 Democrats fall over or somebody calls Parliament and wants to get you. They want to kick the ass at the exchequer and have you sent to France. These things they're very benign. They're non-threatening. This is the kind of knife you could buy a young person. And I wanted to jump in that market with something really cool, and the most American thing of all, which is make it cool, make it the way you like it. And I know you guys in Europe like that too, because you're doing all the same stuff to your Porsches. You guys are making your race guns. You're still doing all the cool personalization, customization on the things you're allowed to have over there. Why not have it be an American service knife? Did I cover it all?
You did. I didn't have to talk hardly at all.
Do you want to talk a little bit?
Nope. I'm good.
That's it?
Yeah.
You talk all the time on video. Nothing you want to cover here? Please. Greg Medford and Amy from Medford Knife and Tool, ASK Knives, American Service Knife. Stuff headed out to Heinnie Haynes. Tell Bruce I said hey when you see him, or tell him you said blimey, or tell him you said.
Remember, fish are friends, not food.
Fish are friends. Name's Bruce. That's all, folks. We're out.